Hey guys, this is Jake Alexander with Casual E-commerce, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how you can build your own one-product dropshipping store with Shopify. Now, at this point, I'm sure by now you're pretty familiar with the idea of building a dropshipping store around just one product. There's a couple other YouTubers out there that have started teaching this strategy, and it's actually my favorite dropshipping strategy. So I figured I'd go ahead and make a step-by-step tutorial showing you exactly how you can go ahead and build your store around one product, because the process is a little bit different. So in this video, we're going to be covering the following steps. So obviously, first off, we need to select a product, and then after selecting a product, we're going to have to go ahead and select a brand name, because the main benefit of a single product dropshipping store is the fact that you can create a very strong brand image around it, which is going to make it a lot easier for you to sell that same product versus all the other general stores out there selling it. And then step 3, we're going to actually create the store. So we're going to do things like creating our selecting our color scheme, and then creating a logo with that color scheme. And we're going to be creating all of the essential pages within Shopify that every store needs. We're going to design a nice, clean, professional looking homepage and a nice, clean, professional product page that is ready to sell. And then we're going to install some apps. So with that said, I'm not going to take too much time going over product selection in this video, because this video is already going to be a pretty long video as it is. And the product selection is definitely something that, is there's a lot to go over, so it would take me at least 30 minutes to go super in-depth with it, if not longer. So I already have a 1-hour video on product research, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to link that in the description, so you can either pause this video and open that up right now, or if you already have a product in mind, or if you just want to go ahead and see how to build the store first, then you can go ahead and just continue the video. Now, I would recommend that you build out your store side by side along with this video, because that'll probably be the easiest, most time efficient way to do things. So really quickly, I will go ahead and list out these 4 criteria that are good for a dropshipping product. So you want to look for all 4 of these criteria whenever you're deciding on a product to select. And like I said, go check out the 1-hour video on product research that I'll have linked in the description if you want a larger, more in-depth breakdown of each of these 4 criteria. But with that said, the 4 criteria are high demand. So the product obviously needs to be in high demand. So basically, that just means it has a lot of sales already. Social validation. So this means that, you've seen it on social media, other stores are selling it, it's being promoted. So in other words, it's kind of trending. Number 3 is that it's unique and useful. So this kind of means that the product's new, it's not oversaturated, and that it solves a problem. So I'd say that products that solve a problem are probably the most efficient products to sell. So this criteria right here is really important. And then the last one is going to be that it has a good profit margin. So with this, pretty self-explanatory. You're looking for at least a $20 profit margin, or at least the 3x markup, one or the other. And with that said, that's going to be it for the product selection part of this video, because this video is going to be mainly focused on creating the actual store around that single product. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to Chrome, and we're going to go ahead and get started with building our single product dropshipping store. All right, guys, so now that we have went through product research and everything, it's time to go ahead and start actually creating a store and creating our brand. So for the sake of this demo video, I'm going to be creating a store around this skin vacuum product here. And I chose this product because this has been a pretty hot product for the past probably 6 or 8 months. It's been advertised pretty actively for a while now, so it's probably one that you've seen before. So I wanted to pick a product that a lot of people might already be familiar with. Now, I would say I wouldn't really recommend trying to sell this product now. It's definitely really saturated, so I wanted to go ahead and just use a pretty widespread example. So we're going to go ahead and use this product to go ahead and build out this store here. So the first thing we need to do is go ahead and select our brand name. So once we have the product, we need to go ahead and think of a brand name that we can use to go ahead and sell the product. Now, To do this, we're first going to head over to namecheap.com, and this is where we're going to get our domain name. Now, you can also get your domain name from like GoDaddy, but they're just more expensive, and I don't really like GoDaddy very much, so I like Namecheap. And you can get a domain straight from Shopify as well. However, it's a few dollars more, and more importantly, you have less control over creating custom emails for like customer support and stuff through Shopify. So I recommend using Namecheap for a domain. So when it comes to the domain, there's going to be 3 different factors that you want to go ahead and look at. So when you're coming up with a brand name, so just keep in mind that your domain name, it needs to match your brand name. So like if your brand name, for example, like think of like Walmart. So Walmart's obviously their brand name, and that's also their domain name. You know, you don't want to have to go to like, you're not going to go to some random site name like thediscountstore.com and then end up, being taken to Walmart. So it's important to know that your brand name needs to also be your domain name. So they're essentially one and the same. So the 3 things you want to look at is the first one is it needs to be unique and brandable. So this is something that I feel like a lot of people struggle with, not just the single product stores, but with general stores, with anything. To put it, bluntly, most people just really suck at naming their stores. Now, I don't know if that's because of like a lack of creativity or more so just a lack of effort. I would assume it's probably just a lack of effort put into it, because I feel like, you don't really need to be super creative to, think of a brand name, because it doesn't need to be like some crazy Eureka style idea. It just needs to be something that's unique and brandable. So what I mean is, if we take a look at this example product that we're going to be building the store around, I can almost guarantee that 90% of people building a single product store around this would name it skinvacuum.com or porevacuum.com. And while you may be able to get away with that, it's just really not leveraging the point of the single product store to the max. And the point of the single product store is to create a strong brand, and it's a lot harder to create a strong brand with such a generic and forgettable name. So I would try and come up with something that's just a little bit more unique and a little bit more brandable, and number 2, that's also kind of relatable to the niche. You don't want it to be something that's completely unrelated. And then the third thing, I'm not sure why there's 2 twos here, but you get the point. The third thing is that the .com needs to be available, and this is because most people associate websites with .com. So let's go back to an easy example. So let's say you wanted to go to Amazon, and for some reason their ending was Amazon, .net or like .ai or something. Think of how many people would type in Amazon.com and they wouldn't be taken to Amazon, because everyone just assumes, for the most part, that the ending of a site is going to be a .com. So you want to pick a name where the .com is available. So the easiest way to check that is to just go on Namecheap and just type something in. So as you can see, if I went ahead and just typed in like Walmart and then hit enter, you'll see that walmart.com here is not available. Now, if I type in something that I know is available, like the craziest domain ever, and you can see that the .com here is available, and it's around $8.88, which actually is a lot cheaper than Shopify, which is normally about $13.99. So what you want to do is you want to sit here and brainstorm for a little bit. So you want to make sure that you have something that meets all 3 of these criteria. So whenever you come up with a name, you'll make sure that it's unique and brandable, relatable to the niche, and that the .com is available. So for the sake of this video, I've went ahead and done some of the planning and stuff ahead of time, so that way the video doesn't drag on too long. So I've already bought a sample domain that I'm going to use for the store, and I've already gotten like a sample logo and everything like that, just so that way the pace of this video doesn't lag behind too much. So what I'm going to do now is move on to the next step. So like I said, all you need to do is go ahead and think of a name that meets all of these criteria, and try and be a little bit more original than, just using the actual product name itself. So the next thing we need to do now is actually create our store. So after we've bought our domain name and we're ready to go, we need to go ahead and create our store. So we're going to be using Shopify to create this store. Now, if you click the link in the description, you'll be taken to this page right here, and you can build your store step by step, side by side with me, which is what I would recommend. And I would appreciate if you do go through the link in the description. It is an affiliate link. So if you like content like this and you want to support me for being able to put up a video like this and put up future content, I would appreciate if you do go through the affiliate link in the description when you sign up for Shopify. It'd be much appreciated. So once you go ahead and bring up this page here, we're just going to go ahead and get started by entering our email address. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And then we're going to start our free trial. So the free trial for Shopify lasts for 14 days. So we're just going to go ahead and create a password and then put in a store name. Now, your store name really doesn't matter because, we've already bought a domain, so we're going to be connecting the domain anyway. So the store name itself, you can really just put whatever you want because we're going to go back and change this. And we're going to go ahead and create the store now, so we just got to wait a few seconds. Alright, so none of this actually matters, so we can just skip this. And now we need to go ahead and enter our information. So I'm going to just go ahead and enter some information real quick, and I'll be back in a second. Alright, so once we're inside of Shopify and we've entered our store, there's a couple of housekeeping things we need to do. Now, the first thing that you would do is connect your domain, which you go to Online Store, and then click Domains, and then click Connect Existing Domain. Now, sometimes this can take a little while for it to actually confirm the connection with the domain, so I'm not going to do that on the video because, like I said, I don't want the video to be too long. But it's pretty self-explanatory. You just type in the domain that you just purchased, and then you'll have to go over to Namecheap and go to your domain manager, and then you would go ahead and copy and paste a few lines of text, and then sometimes it takes like 30 minutes for it to confirm, so that's why I'm not going to do it on the video live, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So once you've connected your domain, there's a couple other things we need to do. So we're going to go ahead and go into Settings, and then we're going to go to General. And for the store name here, we're going to go ahead and change it to what our store name is. So in this case, the brand name that I was going to go ahead and use for this sample store is going to be the Acne Hero. So as you can see, that meets a lot of our name requirements. It's unique, it's brandable, and this blackhead remover, our product that we're going to be selling, gets rid of acne, so it meets all of our requirements. So if I go ahead and put in the store name here, and then the rest of this information is already filled out from earlier, and obviously this isn't my real address. I don't live in a village. And we can come down here to standards and formats, and what I like to do is just put a prefix with our store initials, you could say. So I would just put AH for Acne Hero, just in case you have multiple stores. This helps in the future. And then we just click Save. And now I'm going to go ahead and go back. And then we're going to go to Payment Providers. And this is where we set up our payments. So as soon as this loads in, you'll see that we already have PayPal Express checkout set up by default based on the email you signed up with. Now, if you have a PayPal account that you want to use that isn't the email you signed up with, you're just going to go in here and edit this, deactivate it, and then reactivate it with that email. So the only other one we need to set up is Shopify payments. So we would just go in here to complete account setup, and then you just go ahead and enter in your information here. I'm not going to actually do that on video, but you just go ahead and enter in your information, put in your bank account info, and confirm. So that's pretty self-explanatory right there. So now we're going to go ahead and go back, and the next setting we will look at is the checkout settings. So I like to change customer accounts to optional, and then I do like to require first and last name, and keep these at optional hidden, and then come down here, keep these checked. And then additional scripts, this is where you can put in like Google tracking code and stuff, which is covered. I have another video on that as well. If you want the link to that, just go ahead and leave a comment. And then we can go ahead and just click save. And actually, one more thing, I would go ahead and check on pre-select the sign up option for email marketing, and then save. Now we're going to go back, and we can go to shipping, and really quickly, since we're doing a drop shipping store, we're going to want to go ahead and just clear out these shippings and make our own. So the first one is domestic, so to the US. So right now you can go ahead and decide on what type of shipping you want to provide, because at this point you have your product and you probably have already done your product research, so you know what you're pricing your product at. So at this point you should have a good idea of whether you're going to offer free shipping or not. In this video, I'm just going to keep it simple and offer free shipping. So I'm going to get rid of this rate here, and then I'm going to make a price-based rate, make it free, this free shipping, and click done. But if you don't want to have free shipping, you can go in here and, maybe it's like free shipping for $50 and up, so you can put the minimum order price for the free shipping rate at $50, and that's how you'd create that. So that's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to do the same thing for the international shipping really quickly. So I'm going to get rid of these and create a free international shipping, and then save that, and then we are good to go there. So now what we are going to do is, actually for some reason this didn't save, so yeah, I forgot to save it, so I just need to go back and save this really quickly. So the next thing we're going to do is set up a couple of our basic pages before we actually get into the store designs. So the next thing I'm going to do is open up legal right here, so we can open up our legal pages. And I'm going to go ahead and create a privacy policy and create a terms of service. And you can also create a shipping policy and a refund policy. However, I prefer to custom make these myself. So what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and hover over online store, right click, open link in a new tab, because we're going to need to do some copy and pasting. So now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start creating a couple basic pages really quickly. So I'm going to click add page, and the first one I'm going to go ahead and create is just a contact page really quickly. And I'm going to change the template to page.contact, and it's going to automatically make this a contact page. Now I'm going to go ahead and create another page, and I'm going to make this about us. So on the about page, you just want to provide some details about your company. So you want to kind of come up with a company story. Now, obviously, this is like a drop shipping store, so you're gonna have to get creative and kind of make it up. So I try and type at least just like a paragraph. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. Just a few sentences. Like why. Like what's the main problem that the company is out there to solve. So in this case, like what's your company mission? So like in this store case, the company mission could equal, helping people have clear skin or something like that. Now, obviously, this isn't exactly what you would type. You would, actually speak in complete sentences when you're typing, but you would just include your mission, like who you are as in the owner, and I mean, you don't actually have to put your real name and stuff if you really don't want to, or you can. It really doesn't matter. These are just, sample things you can put in your about page. So, your company mission, who you are, when you got started, and et cetera, et cetera. So spend maybe 5-10 minutes on the about page, put it in a little bit. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy, but, you don't want it to be blank, and you don't want it to just be like, hey, we got started to make lots of money. You want to go ahead and put some sort of mission on here. So get a little creative, and we'll go ahead and save that. We'll create another page. And now this one's going to be a privacy policy. So in order to get the information for the privacy policy, we're going to come back to this tab, and you're going to see that we went ahead and have this information right here. We're going to go ahead and copy this and then paste it in, and then click save. Now we're going to create another page, and this is going to be the terms of service, and every store needs these pages, so you just want to go ahead and get this information in here, copy it, hit paste, save it, and we're going to go ahead and create one more page, and this is going to be the FAQs. Now for the FAQs, it's going to be a little different for each store, but for most dropshipping stores, it's going to be really similar. So I can give you, like a couple example FAQs you can use. Now, the main ones are going to involve like shipping. So some of the questions, for example, could be like, how long until my order arrives? And then depending on, your supplier information, if you're you could put, depending on where your supplier is and depending on where it's being shipped to, you can put different times. So, you could have two different answers. So like for the US, it could be like, 7 to 10 days. And then international could be like 2 to 3 weeks. And, just like the about page, don't actually put it just like this, try and make it a little bit more professional looking. I'm just kind of giving you a template to go off of the questions. So how long until my order arrives? It could be something else like, how long is the processing time? I haven't received my order. And then, you could have like a link to the tracking page, which is an app that we'll go over later in the video. Another FAQ could be something like, my item is defective, so my item is broken. What do I do? And then you can kind of go ahead and get into that. And then you could also have like another section here for returns and refunds. And you can cover things like your return and refund policy. So one that I would suggest is you could have like a 14-day refund policy, return policy rather. So they 14 days after they receive the product, not 14 days after they order it, because it's drop shipping, so they're probably not going to have it within 14 days. So 14 days after they receive the product, if they don't like it, then they can send it back and get a refund, which is what I would recommend doing. I'd at least have a 14-day refund policy. And when it comes to like defective items, obviously if it's broken, just send them another one. So that's what I would go ahead and put in here, and that's pretty much all you're going to really need in the FAQ section. And as you get more and more customer support inquiries, you can go ahead and beef up your FAQ section if you start seeing a lot of frequently asked questions within your customer support. If you keep getting asked the same question, then go ahead and just put it on the FAQ page. So that's going to be it for the basic pages. So what I'm going to do now is click add to the store's navigation, because I just want to go ahead and edit the store navigation a little bit. So first I'm going to edit the main menu. So I just want to go ahead and change the words of catalog to just shop, because we're selling one product, so we don't really have a catalog. So I'm gonna go ahead and change it to shop. You can also change it to just like the product name if you want. And I'm gonna go ahead and add a menu item, and I'm gonna click on link and then pages, and I'm gonna put the contact page on the home menu as well. And then I'm also going to go to pages and put the FAQs on the home menu as well. And then I'm going to go back to navigation, go to footer menu, and I'm going to put the other pages down in the footer. So we can put in like about us, we can put in privacy policy, we can put in terms of service, and you can always put in the like FAQ page again down here, and the contact page down here again as well. And there we go. So we have all of our basic pages and everything set up, and now we have our menu set up. So really all we need to do now at this point is literally just add the product to the store and then kind of design our store and get a logo and stuff. So that's what we're going to be doing now. So the next thing that I'm going to go ahead and do really quickly is head over to apps, because before we design the store, I just want to make sure that the actual product is in the store, because it's easier to design the store if you have your product in the store. So what we're going to do real quick is we're just going to install Oberlo. Now there's some other apps that we can install later, but right now I just want to get the product in the store so we can start designing it. So we're going to just add Oberlo. So we're going to add Oberlo in, install the app. So there we go, create your store, connect your store, add your first product. So now that we've went ahead and added Oberlo, really quickly, since we're in here, I'm going to change a couple of the settings really quick. So I'm going to go to settings, and I'm going to go down here first to other and just take a look at these. And you want to make sure that your reply to email address isn't your personal email, so it's your customer support. So normally your customer support email is just going to be like support@yourdomain.com. So we haven't covered making an email yet, but you can go ahead and put this in here anyway, because we're going to eventually create a support email. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then if we come up here to suppliers, you're going to see that there's already a custom mode in here. We can keep it like this. We can change our default shipping method to e-packet if we are shipping from China, but if we have already found a US supplier, then we don't want to do that. But if we're going from China, setting it to e-packet is going to save us some time. And then you can go ahead and put in an override phone number here, so that we don't have to manually enter it every time you're fulfilling orders. I would recommend just getting a Google Voice phone number, so you don't have to put in your own phone number. So I'd put in a Google Voice phone number here. And then right here, as you can see, I already have the Chrome extension installed. So if you don't, you just need to click right here, and you will just go ahead and install the Chrome extension, but I already have it installed, so I don't have to do that. And the last thing we'll do is go to regular settings here, and we're going to go to notify customers when an order gets fulfilled. And then we're going to add a custom tracking URL. So what we're going to do is we're going to use 17 track, since this tracks pretty much everything. So if you go to 17track.net/English, and we're just going to take this URL, put it in here, and then we can leave all of this default, and then we're going to save settings, and now we are all customized inside of Oberlo. So now we're just going to go ahead and add our product in. So I'm going to head over to AliExpress. All right, so I just went ahead and went over to the skin vacuum and just click this right here, and we can push this product to Oberlo. And now we come back over here to import list, and we'll see that this product shows up here. Now what we want to do is change a lot of this information, because this is terrible. Like, I mean, this doesn't even look like English to me. So the people that keep this base information, they're fucked. So we kind of want to come up with like a custom product name. So the easiest way to do this is to use your brand name, and then you can call it like what the product is. So in this case, we could call it the Acne Hero Skin Vacuum. So you can see how this has some branding in it as well. So we would change our title to like a branded title, so it sounds like an actual legit product, not just, you know, some more drop shipped bullshit. So the next thing we want to do is head to the description, and pretty much all of this is bullshit, so we're just going to get rid of it, and then we're going to edit the description later. You never want your description to look like the generic AliExpress horse shit, because it sucks. So we're going to go and edit the description later once it's inside Shopify, and then go over to variants, and then, you know, depending on your product, depending on how many variants it has, this is where we can go ahead and, you know, change that. I'm just going to stick with the standard variant here, and we are going to then go over to the price. And now you should have already, you know, done your market research and decided what you wanted to price your product at. So in this case, I'll just go ahead and set it to this. If you want to put it on sale, you can do that for some scarcity. And now I'm going to go to images, and then you can go through here and try and look for which images are going to be the best. So, you know, this image isn't one I want to use because I don't want all this stuff in here. Now we can edit this out actually. So actually I'm going to keep this image here just because I'm going to show you how you can edit this out. Now we just want to go through here and select the best images that we feel, you know, our product would want to see. So our customer would want to see rather. So I'll go with like this one. Let's see. I'm usually skeptical about putting in these because the English is usually terrible. And this is more of a photo that you put in your product description anyway. So I'm going to just put a couple of basic photos in here. I'll go ahead and we could add this one in and then just get rid of that. So depending on the product, you can change, you know, the photos you want to use. And we can always go and edit these photos later anyway. So I'm going to go and click import the store now. And now that it has been imported, we are good to go, and we are done with Oberlo for now. So I'm going to just go ahead and X this out. And now at this point, we have our product imported. So if we go to products, you can see this right here. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to come back to this later. I just wanted the product in the store initially, so that way, you know, it makes the design process easier if the product's actually in there. So now we're going to go ahead and, you know, take care of some other design basics because we haven't even selected a logo or a color scheme yet. So that's why I'm not going to edit any of the product yet. I just wanted to go ahead and set the foundation of the store up, which we've done. We've got our pages, basic pages, and we've got our product in here. So now we just have to make it look good. All right, so I'm going to head over to online store, and this is where we can select themes and the sort. So what I'm going to do for this video is I'm just going to use Debut. I like Debut. I've seen a lot of one product stores with Debut. I've made one product stores with Debut. It's pretty simple. Now there's a lot of different ones you can use. If we go ahead and explore the themes, we can see a few here. Another good one product store theme is Jumpstart. Now I'm just going to visit the theme store real quick and show you a few. So what we could do here is go to collections and go to like great for small inventories, and we can look at these different ones here, and we can see Jumpstart and Debut right here are good for small inventories, which is why they're good for single product stores. They're both free themes as well. Minimal is another one you can use, but definitely like these two. We can go ahead and look at these others. So I would go ahead and just stick with Jumpstart or Debut. Now, if we click on all themes real quick, we can go to free and then also sort by single product, and we can see that narrative is another one you can use for a single product store as well. So you can stick with one of those three. You can really use any theme you want, make it into a single product store, but it's easier to use the ones that are already kind of tailor-made for, small inventories. It just makes more sense. Now, for this video, I'm just going to be using debut. So what we need to do now is go ahead and actually make our store start looking good. So the first thing we're going to do is hit customize. Now, at this point, we don't even have a logo or a color scheme selected. So this is going to be the next thing we need to do. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and give you 3 tips when it comes to selecting a logo and a color scheme. So this is something that you also don't want to be random about. So, because especially your color scheme is something that, it plays a very large role subconsciously with your customers. Like if you look at a lot of different brands, you'll notice that their colors, they're not random. They're strategically selected. And that's because sometimes colors, there's, color psychology, and colors can be associated with different things. Like, for example, green is normally associated with, like, natures. That's why you see a lot of organic products, are green. And then you see a lot of companies in the medical field with blue logos. So, you want to be strategic with your color selection. So one thing you can do is look at a lot of the competitors in your niche and see what colors they are going with. So for this example video, this is what I did. So like I said earlier, I went ahead and already had some example logos made. To kind of speed this tutorial up, I'm going to show you a couple places you can get logos though, but I had some made, and the color scheme was based off of competitors, and that competitor was actually Proactive. So they're one of the biggest like acne skin cream brands out there. So I decided to use their colors as inspiration and use similar shades. So you kind of want to select colors that give off the vibe that you want. So like I said, if it's like a natural organic product, you're probably going to want to use some kind of green. And then you're going to want to use these colors throughout your entire site. So, your site doesn't need to be a bag of Skittles. It needs to be congruent. You don't want it to just be a random smorgasbord of bullshit with 50 different colors. That just looks unprofessional and stupid. You want to pick 1, 2, maybe 3 colors max that your entire brand is going to be based around, because your brand is essentially a combination of your logo, your name, and your color scheme, and all these things are going to come together and be associated with your brand. Now, there's other things as well, like your customer support, your mission, et cetera, but when it comes to visually, it's going to be your logo and your color scheme. So this is something that when you're creating a single product store, you want to go ahead and put a lot of effort into this. So use these tips. There's something you can look up right here, like I'll show you right now. If we go to color psychology, we can go ahead and look at these. So color emotions. So we can see yellow, optimism, orange, friendly, red, excitement, purple, creative, green, peaceful. So like I was saying earlier, you see Whole Foods, their logo is green, they sell organic foods, it makes sense. So you can look at different things like this, and you can see how the brands kind of associate with different colors. There's a lot of different ones you can look at, and you can try and kind of correlate your branding colors with the type of emotion and vibe that you're trying to give off. So you can see a lot of companies go ahead and implement this. So this is something that you want to implement yourself. So once you've gone ahead and decided on a color scheme, you need to decide on a color scheme before you can get a logo. So once you've decided on a color scheme, now it's time to get a logo. Now when it comes to a logo for a single product store, this isn't something that you want to take lightly. You don't want to go ahead and make a shit logo. So I'm going to give you 2 different options for creating a logo that I would recommend. And this is assuming that you're not a graphic designer, so you're not going to make your own. So the first one is probably the simplest. So you just go to Fiverr, and then you literally just type in logo. So Fiverr.com, type in logo, and there's a bunch of them. Most of these guys are good. If they have a ton of reviews, they're going to be fine. Like this guy's got 1.k plus reviews. So expect to pay, around $50 for a solid, clean logo with high quality vector files, which is fine because, this is, you're trying to create a solid brand, so you don't want a shitty $5 logo. So this is the first place you can go. Now, the second place you can go is a site called Brand Crowd. Now, this is actually the site that I went ahead to use to create the sample logo that I'm going to be using for the store design. And what you kind of do is they have a bunch of pre-made designs, and you kind of just put them together. So let's say like your brand has to do with like nature or something. You could type in nature, and you can find a bunch of different sample logos here. And if you find one you like, you can customize it. You can come in and edit certain things. Like you can edit the colors, so you can change it to like whatever you want. And then you can change your text. You can change the type of text, and so on and so forth. And then you download it. And then to get the high quality files, it's about $40. So it runs you just about the same as Fiverr. So, maybe you save $10. So if you come on here and you just see one that you like, and, you just customize it a little bit, you can go ahead and use that. So I would recommend either using Fiverr or using this. And then obviously make sure it correlates with the color scheme that you've already selected. So if you're getting a logo design on Fiverr, make sure you tell them the colors you want to use. And then if you're doing it yourself on here, make sure you go ahead and utilize the colors that you've already decided upon. So at this point, we're going to actually get down to designing the store itself. So on Shopify, we already have a base template here. So it's going to be pretty easy to go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and edit the header. So now we're going to go ahead and select an image for our logo. So I'm going to go ahead and upload the logo that I'm going to be using. So we're going to upload. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in here and then click select. And this is really tiny though, so I don't really like that. So I'm going to make it bigger. And maybe we'll make it like 240. Now you can size this depending on what you think looks good. So I think that looks pretty solid. So I'm going to go ahead, and you can see that you can make it centered or left. So whatever you like better. I like it over here on the left. And the next thing we can do is show an announcement. So I normally like to show an announcement. So if you offer free shipping, we can just do something like this: free shipping worldwide. And let's see, to make this stand out a little more, we can head over to emojipedia.org, and we can put like globe in here. And we'll just click one of these, copy it, and then come over here and put that emoji in there. And the next thing we want to do is start to color coordinate everything. So we're going to come back over here to Google really quickly. And by the way, you can put anything you want up here, like 50% off, limited time if you're having a sale, any type of notification you want, but I would recommend utilizing the notification bar. We're going to go to hex code finder and just click this first one, so HTML colorcodes.info. And we're going to go ahead and upload a logo in here real quick. So what we want to do is we just want to make sure that all of our colors coordinate between the site and our logo. So you can see that this color does not match this at all, and it looks stupid. And we can go in here and try and like match it manually, but that's pretty hard to do. So you just want to match it exactly. So we're going to take this code, copy it, and then paste it in here to the bar. And now it matches. You can see that looks a lot better. Now, we could have used this color as well, but I just wanted to use this one. So now that we've done that, I'm going to hit save, and you can see that this already looks a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and back out of this, and I'm going to head over to theme settings really quickly, because what I want to do is I want to go in the colors now that we have this hex code, and I want to edit a couple of things. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that my headings and links are solid black. I prefer it solid black, and same with the body text. I don't want it gray. Sale price, I like to be a shade of red, so I will make that bright red. Primary buttons, now we want to make our primary buttons match up with this, so this is where we're going to use this code again. So primary buttons, we're going to change that to this color. Secondary buttons, I'm going to make that black. Text, black. Everything else we can keep the same. Now if we scroll down here, yep, we can see the buttons change colors, and now it looks a lot better. So I'm going to click save. And the typography, what we can do as well is we can change this to kind of make our store unique. So there might be a lot of people, using debut theme or using the theme you're using, but you can make your store stand out by changing the text. So let's see if I see another font that I like. Now, I wouldn't recommend using something like this. Let's wait for this to update here if it does. You don't want to use something, I mean, I guess it depends on your brand, if you're selling something really artsy, this might work, but most of the time you want to stick with a clear font that's, really easy for people to read. So one that I like is Cabin. And then you want to make your body text exactly the same. So like I said, you can use those fancy looking fonts if you want, but it's really got to be it's got to be it has to fit with your brand really good. I don't think a fancy text like that would fit really well with a skin vacuum. So I just want a normal font, basic font. So I'm going to save that. And then the last thing we need to do in settings here is I'm going to edit the favicon. And what this is just going to be, you can see where this little Shopify bag is. So your favicon is just going to be your logo, but with no text, so just your logo. So I have a version of that as well. So if you created your logo on BrandCrowd, or if you got it made on Fiverr, you should have a logo only version of it. So we're going to upload that right here. So icon only, select, save. And now we are looking good. All right, so now at this point, we are going to get out of the theme settings and go back to sections. So you can see our store is already looking a lot better. So now what we're going to do is edit this next section right here. So what I like to do with the image with text overlay is put in some type of some type of background photo that kind of relates to the niche that you're in. So what you can do for free stock photos, you just want to put a high quality stock photo in here, is you can go over to Pixabay, or if you want paid photos, you can use Shutterstock or Adobe Stock. There's a lot of different options you can use. So if you don't find the free stock photo that you like on Pixabay, you can utilize one of the paid resources as well. Like I said, if you're really trying to make your brand stand out and trying to make your store look really good, then going ahead and going all out on every aspect is not a negative. So if you have to spend a little money, that's fine. You're not trying to make the cheapest store, you're trying to make the best store. That's the whole point of the single product dropshipping stores. So I've already found an image that I'm going to use here. But like I said, you just want to think about a stock photo that's relevant to your product. So in this case with acne, something that would be relevant would be, clear skin. So if I put a photo of someone with clear skin, that's something that most people visiting the site aspire to have. So that would be a good background photo for the header. So I'm going to go ahead and upload that now. All right, so I've went ahead and uploaded this photo of a woman with clear skin, and we can change the image alignment here. And as you can see that we can't really see everything. You can see this is the whole photo, so we could make it align up top, make it align at the bottom, and that looks awful. Or we could keep it at the middle. So I would say the top probably looks the best here, but if we wanted to also change something else, we could change the section height to like large, and that makes more of our photo visible, and I would say that probably looks the best. So depending on, you know, your photo, you can edit things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep it like this, and then now what we want to do is put in some text. And normally what I like to do with single product stores is have a button. So the button label could be like shop now, or like try it now. So the heading could be like get rid of acne for good. And then, you know, you could put some subtext in here. I won't for this case. Our button link here could be, I'll go down here to the product, I'll right click it, copy the link address, and then put that in there. So get rid of acne for good, try it now. If we wanted some subtext in here, we could type in, you know, something like our skin vacuum has helped thousands of people achieve clearer skin. Are you next? And you know, you just have to be creative when it comes to writing stuff like this. You can really put different types of stuff, and you can see that it's already looking a lot better already. So we can go ahead and click save these changes. Now looking back on it more, I don't really like how big this is, so I'm gonna change it back to medium, and I'm gonna change this back to middle. Yeah, I just don't like the photo to be that large. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back and featured collection. This section's kind of useless because, you know, we have one product. So I'm going to just delete it. So I'm going to click on it, remove section. So image with text, this is something that could be a useful section. So what you can do is upload. There's a lot of different things you can do with this section, actually. So you could upload a photo of your product here. You could upload a photo of like another lifestyle photo. So it could be something similar to like somebody with clear skin. It could be like some type of before and after. There's a lot of different things that you could upload in this section. Now, all right, so I went ahead and uploaded this image of the product, and I'm just going to go ahead and use this right here. So like I said, there's a lot of different things you can do with this section here, and obviously we can change all of these sections. You know, we don't have to use them all, but I do like the text and image section. So like I said, there's a lot of different options that you can put here. I'll just go ahead and put the products here, and I will you just put some type of you know, this is where copywriting comes in. You just want to put something here that, you know, describes the product but also gets people interested in it. So I could make the heading something like a simple, effective solution to blackheads. And then I could put something here. Our skin vacuum is a cost-effective solution to blackheads that only takes 10 minutes per day to use, or something like that. You know, you just want to go ahead and put something about the product in, and we can do the button just like before. So like try it now, and then we can link to the product again, and then we can save So you can see it's really easy to go ahead and make these sections and actually make our store look really good. So what I would recommend is for the home page, you kind of want it to be like an alternate sales page for the product. You want the home page to be like really visual. So you can go ahead and put in just different things, and it's going to depend varying on the product. One product may be able to be shown, being used in a lot of different ways. There's a lot of different things that you can do depending on the product. And what you want to do is just kind of use a bunch of these simple yet efficient, tagline and descriptions, and then like showcase the product, showcase someone using the product, etc., etc. And there's other sections here like slideshow. Like in this case, I don't really want to use the slideshow, but I could add in another section. So there's a lot of different things you can do with single product stores. It's not like there's like a generic copy and paste blueprint, but you do want to kind of customize it depending on what you like, and then depending on the product itself. So we could add like another image with text. We could add like a gallery. We could add like an Instagram feed. So like in this example, for something like this, product like this, an Instagram feed would probably be good. So that would require an app, which I can go ahead and show you later. So that would look pretty good. Something else we could do for now is just add like an image with text. So I'll add this, and when you have multiple images with text, you want it to alternate from left to right. So in this case, I'll switch the image to the right, and then so I could put another image in, and this time I could go ahead and use a different image, and we will go ahead and select this, and we can describe something else. So we could put something in here like flexible and rechargeable, and we could put something in here like our skin vacuum comes with So just something else describing the product that's kind of related to the photo here. And then we can just click save, and you can see now the home page looks pretty good. And we can also go ahead and look at what it would look like on mobile. So on mobile, it looks pretty good as well. And now we're going to go ahead, and we could put another button in here as well. So actually we'll go ahead and do that. And now we're just going to edit the footer. So I'm going to go back, make sure we save our changes. Now I'm going to open up the footer. Now quick links, and this is just our footer menu. So we can name this whatever we want. You can keep it at quick links. We'll just go ahead and keep that there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change this text to black, because like I said, I like solid black. I don't like the grayish black. It doesn't really make sense. We can show payment icons right here, or we can not show them. In this case, I'll just show them. We can see that our store still says powered by Shopify. We're going to go ahead and get rid of this in a second. I'll show you how to do that. And now we can edit the different things that are going to be in our description. So as you can see, we can add content, add menu or text. Now in this case, we can go ahead and have the newsletter right here. And you don't just want it to say newsletter, so you could do something like sign up for 10% off your first order. And then this text section right here, what I would like, ideally, what I like to put in here is like the actual contact information. So you put something like get in touch, and then what you would do is put in like your email. So like support at your domain, and then your support phone number. So, getting a 1-800 number is something that's highly recommended for single product stores. And it's cool because if you get one, you can use the same 1-800 number for pretty much any business you have, or at least any dropshipping store you have, that is, if you want. So it could be like 1-800, and then I'll just put in like a random number. This is not an actual number. I'm not sure why it did that. And then we could have the address. So another thing I recommend doing is getting a virtual address, and this is something cool you can utilize for all of your businesses if you don't want your personal address, out there, in public, on your stores, or any other type of online business you have. Having a virtual address is definitely helpful because you can go ahead and just not use your actual address, which is cool. So what we can go ahead and do is put in the address here. And by doing this, we add a lot of trust when we're adding in things like our address, when we're adding in a phone number. Now we're starting to look a lot more like a legitimate brand versus just another BS dropshipping store. So now I'm going to click save. And at this point, our store is already starting to look really solid. So you can see how, it doesn't really take too long to do this. A lot of people, that are against the one product stores, will bring up the rebuttal saying that, well, it's too long or it's too hard to create a store for each new product. Well, not really, dude. Like, if you do this fast, like I'm moving in slow motion for the tutorial. Like, once you do it a couple of times, you can bust these stores out, logo, domain. You can do the whole thing in under 2 hours. And once you get good at it, it's not really that hard to do. So, people that are saying that have just never done it before. So one product stores are not that hard to create and make look good. If anything, they're kind of easier to make look good because you're basing the whole store on one product. You don't have to worry about, making everything else look crazy. To me, they're simple to make. You bust them out in a couple hours and you test the product out. So the home page is done. We're good here. So literally all we have left to do is our product page, and that's it. We're good to go. So really quickly, I'm going to remove Powered by Shopify. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to here. So click the bag, and I'm going to go over actions, and I'm going to click edit code, and we're going to remove the Powered by Shopify link. So I'm going to scroll down under here, and we're going to click on sections, and I'm going to scroll down to footer.liquid, and I'm just going to click anywhere in here, click Control F, and then search for the word powered. And then right here we can see powered by link and powered by link. So we need to remove both of these because one of these is for desktop and one's for mobile, so we need to remove both. So we're just going to click in here and get rid of it. Gone. Click in here, get rid of it. Gone. Save. Scroll up, preview. Scroll down, it's gone. That's it. All right, so now that we've done that, we are going to get to work editing our actual product itself. And this is the last thing we got to do. So we're going to go to products, and we are going to open up our product here and start editing it. So we're starting from a blank slate here. We have the blank description, and that's a good thing because, to be honest, I'd rather have a blank description than that AliExpress bullet bullshit where it's not even English. It's just random AI generated text. At least that's what it looks like. So the first thing we're gonna do though is edit these photos. So like I told you, I told you I'd show you how to edit these. So that's what we're gonna do. All right. So to edit these, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab the photo real quick. So I'm gonna click preview. I'm gonna save it. So I'm gonna save it, and then we just need to go to a photo editor. So what we can do is, if you have Photoshop, use that. If not, you can download paint.net. It does a similar thing. It's just a little bit more basic, but I mean, what we're doing is literally like extremely basic editing anyway. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to grab a couple of these photos and we're gonna edit all of them real quick. Alright, so I'm going to jump over to Photoshop now, and we're going to go ahead and edit these photos. So I'm going to open them up real quick. Alright, so we've opened up the first one, and this one's pretty easy. So, and if you're using paint.net, it's the same thing. So literally, we just want to get rid of this crap. So all I'm going to do is use the brush tool on white, and I'm just going to get rid of it. And like that's it. So I'll make this a little bit smaller. And just like that, you can see that we've gotten rid of it. Now there's like this blank white space right down here, which may look a little awkward and disproportionate. So what we can do is we can just go ahead and add our logo into it if we want. So I'm going to go ahead and just open up the logo and show you how to do that. Okay, so we got the logo open here. So if you're using like paint.net, it's pretty similar as well. All you need to do is select your logo out with a rectangle select tool, and then Control-C to copy it, and then come back over here, and then add a new layer, and then just Control-V to paste it in. And on Photoshop, you will go to Edit, Free Transform to resize it, shrink it a little bit, shrink it down, and then center it. And I will actually move it up just a little bit. We'll just keep it there. Okay, so there we go. We filled out the blank space, and now somebody can just, copy this image without doing at least some sort of basic editing to it, which, you'd be surprised how lazy people really are. So just putting in something like this could, prevent a good amount of people from taking this image because they literally don't want to, use a white paintbrush and paint over it. So now I'm going to go ahead and save it. So for this one, it's the same thing. We just want to get rid of this text. So, it's simple. We come in here, take the paintbrush, get rid of it, gone. Multifunctional cleaning instrument, like that just doesn't really look good on a product photo. So we're just going to get rid of it. Now, one thing we could do is we could put our logo in here if we want. I'm just going to leave it blank. This one might be a little bit harder because this is actually on the box. So what you can do is in Photoshop, you would use what's called the clone stamp. So right below the paintbrush. And what you're going to do, you see if you try and click, it's not going to be able to define anything. So you need to hit Alt and then click. And then what it's going to do is it's going to copy the color from the nearby area. So if you Alt click, it's just going to cover this stuff up. So select this and it will cover it up based on what's right there. Alt click. And then just keep clicking to cover this up. Alt click again. And you'll see there's certain sections right here that kind of aren't blended, so you kind of have to go in there and do that. And there you go, just like that, it's gone. So it's really easy, really simple to do. And one, sneaky thing you could kind of do is like put your logo on this box. So you could come back to your logo and copy it, and then come over to here, add a new layer, paste it in, edit, free transform, shrink it, turn it this way, shrink it, and just put it like in there on the box. And just like that, now it looks like you have a box with your logo on it. So, I mean, that's just one little sneaky thing you can do. And then we can save it. And just like that, we've taken the photos, we've edited them, we've made them custom, and it's really easy to do in Photoshop. You can do the same things on paint.net for free. However, you're just gonna have to, there's like workarounds you have to use. So if you're gonna use paint.net, you might have to look up a couple YouTube tutorials. So now we have custom photos. So now we're going to replace all these. All right, so I went ahead and added all 3 of these in. So now we're just gonna get rid of the old ones. And you don't really have to add the products in to grab the photos either. You can always save them straight from the AliExpress page. This is just the way I added them in. So we'll remove these. And, like I said, you could come over to the AliExpress page, look for photos in here, and just grab these, save these photos, and edit them. And the same thing goes for when you're making the product description later, when we put some photos in there. You can just grab some of these photos, edit them, and then throw them in the description. So what we're going to do is pick which one would look the best as the base product photo. So one other thing I'm going to do is add the blank picture of the product that we had as well. And I'm going to use that as the base photo. And then I'm going to use this as the second one. And then I'm actually probably going to use this skin photo in the product description, so I'm going to get rid of that. And there we go. We have some clean product photos here. If you wanted, you can do the same logo trick in this photo. So like, I'll show you one where I've done that real quick. You can put that in there. So instead of having a blank photo, we can have one where it's blank. But you can see that edited in the logo up top just for a little bit more branding. So just like we did earlier. So there we go. Product photos are done. The rest of this stuff we don't really have to mess with. We've already set up our pricing and everything. So everything else we really don't need to mess with right now. One thing you could do is if you have variants, sometimes you need to clean up the variants in here. This product doesn't have any variants, so I don't have to worry about it. So the last thing we really need to do is edit our product description. Now this is one of the most important parts. So I'm going to kind of give you a template and then create one right here in the video. So the template is going to be you're going to at least want 2 to 3 paragraphs. You're going to want the first paragraph is going to want to be salesy. So meaning you're going to want to, grab their attention. You're not going to want all the features and bullet points and bullshit in the beginning. You're going to want to, describe their problem and then offer the solution. So you're going to want to, like, in this case, describe the problem of acne and then, say how this product's going to help get rid of it. And then you have things like the benefits. So benefits are more important than features. So the benefits. So the difference between benefits and features is features and specs are like this product's 8 inches long. A benefit would be you're going to have clear skin. So a benefit could be like clearer skin. And after that, so we'll have benefits, a benefits section, a features section, and then the next section, and each one of these sections would be like bullet points, and the next section could be like a guarantee. And then drip fed in the middle of all these things. So this is kind of like a template, but depending on the product, you can kind of change it up a little bit. So let's say you have a video demonstration, you could put that in here as well. So video demo. And you're going to want to split some images in here as well. So like 2 images is good. So let's say image 1. And then below this, you could have image 2. And, maybe you have images that are describing how to use the product or something like that. If it's a product that's complicated to use, below features, you could have like how to use product. And this is kind of how you want to fill out your product description. You don't want it to just be blank bullshit, So now I'm going to show you a couple ways that you can kind of get the content for the description. So like I said, you can find the photos from the product listing page, and then you can edit them just like we already did in Photoshop to go ahead and put in your description. So the next thing we can do to find some content is, first we can head over to Amazon and we can see if the product's on Amazon. And if the product is on Amazon, then we can kind of use a little bit of the description. So we can go like skin vacuum and see if it's on here. So we can see that there's different skin vacuums on here. There's a lot. Trying to see if there's any that are like exactly the same. Yeah, I mean, this one pretty much looks the same. So we can look at the description right here, and we can kind of piggyback off of this. So like this looks like benefits. So I could literally just copy this and bring it in, and this would go into the benefits section. So like, there we go. So like heading 3, benefits. And you want to go in and edit some of this text to customize it a little bit, but there's some benefits right there. Another thing you can do to look for description content, Google skin vacuum and look for different stores selling your stuff. So let's try and find another Shopify store, maybe advertise it on Google. Yep, this is one. Just out of curiosity. Yeah, this is like some niche store or whatever. You see, this is a really good example. You can see how our store already looks, 10 times better than this random niche store, just random bullshit products. So you can see how our store already looks better anyways. So if you own this store, I apologize. Well, actually I don't. So anyway, let's see. So their description's pretty short, so we're not really gonna get anything from that. So that wasn't really helpful. So let's see if there is any more. Okay, so this looks like a one product store here, but they didn't do it very well either. So see, if you follow this video, you're gonna be ahead of so many different people. Get this shit out of my face. Okay, so now we can look, and yeah, this is awful. This is terrible. So this video is gonna put you ahead of like 99% of people, because most people are just like, I don't know why they're running paid advertising when the description looks like this. It's not converting. So let's see if we can find one with like an actual description. Now this is actual vacuums. Well, they probably need to edit their advertising. They're wasting money showing up for this. Let's see what this is. All right, so you can see that this has a little bit more of a description here. So like, you can find different sites that actually have actual, descriptions, not like the garbage that we just looked at earlier. And you can kind of use it as inspiration to write your own description. So what I would do is try and find other Shopify stores selling the same product. Maybe you've found, your product through Facebook ads and you've bookmarked some of the stores, which is smart to do. Keep their pages open, and don't just copy the same description, because so many people just copy and paste the same description and wonder why shit doesn't work. It's because that's stupid and lazy. So you want to use other descriptions as inspiration, but you want to make sure yours is better. So those are 2 ways that I like to get content for descriptions, but a lot of it comes down to just following this blueprint and then being creative. So like I said, first paragraph, salesy, grab their attention, throw in an image, go through the benefits, throw in an image, throw in the features, throw in how to use the product, a video demo if you got it, and then throw in your guarantee. And if you follow this formula, your description is going to look a lot better than the garbage that we've went ahead and looked at. And like I said, you can see these stores, they're just, they're shit. So, if you go ahead and just even following this video, you're going to be ahead of so many people, because, people are just lazy. So it's really not that hard to beat them if you just put in effort. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to kind of fill out this description here, because, I don't want the video is already going to be really long. So I don't want to sit here for like 15 minutes editing the description. So I'm going to just edit the description, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's done. So yeah, I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I went ahead and filled out this description here, and this is going to kind of give you an example of, what to put in here. Now, I only spent a few minutes on it, so it could be a little bit better. Adding in maybe a video or something would be helpful, depending on if you have any video of the product or any testimonials or anything. But you can see now it looks pretty clean. I started out the description with a quick little attention grabber call to action, like say goodbye to acne, and then, right here, this first paragraph kind of reminds them of the problem, puts them in a little bit of pain, and then, you put them in pain, and then you're like, here's how to get away from the pain. So that's like just simple copywriting. So if you want to pause the video and read it, you can. And then right here, did another paragraph right here, and, added in a little image. And then I put in the benefits right here. You can see I took these benefits from Amazon, but I edited them, made it look a little bit better, and reworded it. And then put in another image here, directions for how to use, and then I threw in a guarantee. Now, you definitely could beef up this description a little bit more, maybe with another, custom text paragraph, maybe with some of the features such as like maybe how long it takes to recharge, the battery life, and things like that. Like I said, I just put this together quickly to kind of give you an example for the video. But even this quick description that only took me a couple minutes to make already looks a lot better than all the other ones that I showed you out there. So, I mean, even if you do this, you're going to be ahead of the game. But if you do this and then, spend, I'd recommend spending a decent amount of time on your description, maybe 30 minutes to an hour. Because your description is what is, this is kind of like your sales page. So, this is something that's really important. So I'd argue the product description is the most important thing. The product page, rather, is the most important thing that you need to go ahead and spend the most time on. So now what I'm going to do is, now we're pretty much all good. There's just a couple more things that I want to edit, and then we are going to be good to go. So what I'm going to do is, now that I'm viewing this product here, so I just click the view, is I'm going to customize, because there's a couple things on the product page I want to change. So the product page itself hasn't been customized yet, so I want to go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to click on product pages, and the reason we didn't customize this earlier is because the product page wasn't filled out. So I wanted to go ahead and edit it once it's filled out. So we can change the image size, we can make it small. I like to just keep it at medium. Usually the base theme knows what they're doing. We can show the quantity, so if they want to order multiple, depending on the product, you can show these different things. I normally like to show the quantity. I usually hide the dynamic checkout button, and then I'll click save. And then what we can do is, now we just want to edit the checkout real quick. So I'm going to add this to cart. And now we can see the cart page. We can open it up. We can enable cart notes if you want to add specific notes to the order. That's something you can just do if you want. And then now I'm going to go back, and I'm going to checkout. And in checkout, we just need to change a couple things, and we'll be good to go. And then this is pretty much it. So now you can see that even though we edited our buttons and everything, our checkout buttons, they didn't change. So you have to edit checkout separately. So we're not going to worry about a background image, but we are going to put our logo up here instead of this. So we're going to select an image, and we already have one in here. So I'm just going to select the logo, hit select, scroll down, and we'll wait for this to load in. We can change the position of it, but it hasn't even loaded in yet. And I'll just make it large, see what that looks like. And it's updating really slow, so yeah, I'll keep that at large. I'm going to scroll down here. Okay, so for the typography, you'll notice that there's not as many options as, there was for editing the store. And this doesn't really matter as much. You can really just keep this as, just basic, system or Arial. You don't really have to mess with the fonts too much here. Just make sure they're the same. And now we just want to go ahead and change accents and buttons to the same color as we have throughout the rest of the store, and we'll be good to go. So we can see currently used, so I don't have to go get the hex code again. It was already saved in here. So I will change that to this. And now our checkout is good to go. We hit save. And we are all set. Now I would recommend going ahead and running through your checkout process yourself and actually completing the order just to make sure everything works. And now we are pretty much good to go. So what I'm going to do is just open up the store, and you can see just like that. I mean, yeah, it's taken us a little while, probably about 2 hours, but once you get good at this, you can do this entire process in under 2 hours. So you can see that we've went ahead, we've made a pretty good looking store, really simple. This homepage, you can make it a little bit better with a couple different more things on here, but the most important thing is the product page. We can see we have the phone number and everything, our address and everything set up down here. We can go over to the product page and see that it's all set up. So now you can see this is how you create a one product dropshipping store, step by step. And the only things you'd have to clean up now is you'd actually need to go and create your support email. And to do that, I recommend using G Suite, which is $5 to $10 a month. So I believe they just changed it to $10 a month. So I like to use G Suite because you can connect your domain with it, and then you can make support at your domain, whatever you want. And you can just manage the email through Gmail, which is my favorite email provider. So it's really easy to use. Alright guys, so now that we're done editing the store itself, I just wanted to go ahead and run through a couple applications that you should be running inside of your store. So I'm not really someone that likes using like 20 or 30 apps. I don't really like stores that look like fireworks displays. I prefer clean and simple because I think that looks more professional, more brandable, and that's going to convert higher. And a lot of the apps, if you use too many, your site just gets really slow, and that just ruins conversion rate if your site takes half a year to load. So I'm going to just run through 5 apps. We already have Oberlo, so I'm only suggesting 5 more. You don't even have to use every one of these if you don't want. I'd say like 2 of them are completely mandatory, and the other 3 are highly recommended. So the first one is Crushpix. This is one of the highly recommended ones. You just go ahead and install it, and all it does is it shrinks your photo sizes so that way it doesn't take as long for your website to load. So essentially it just increases your loading speed. So this is something I recommend. Now I will say I'm not going to go through and demonstrate how to set up each app, because this video would probably turn into like a 3-hour video. And each app, like as soon as you install it, they all have instructions. So unlike Shopify doesn't really have like instructions for everything we just covered, but the apps, they all have instructions that are step by step. They have their own tutorials, so I'm not going to walk you through someone else's tutorial. So I'm just going to tell you the apps and tell you what they use within them, and that's it. So Crushpix is the first one. The next one is Aftership. So this is so you can provide shipping and tracking information and updates when your customers order. So you can create like a track your order page on your store and stuff. So this is pretty neat and something that a lot of e-commerce stores have nowadays. So it's something that you should probably have as well. So the next one is Looks photo reviews. Now this one's mandatory. So you'll notice when we were looking at our product page earlier, the only thing that was really missing was product reviews. That's the last thing we needed in there, and product reviews are mandatory. So Looks is cool because Looks lets you import reviews straight from AliExpress. So it's an easy way to get reviews without already having reviews. So I highly recommend installing Looks. It's pretty self-explanatory. All you have to do is it's kind of similar to Oberlo, where it works through Chrome. So you can kind of just save one of the things within Looks. You drag it up to your bookmarks bar, and then you just go to the link of the product on AliExpress that you want to go ahead and import reviews from, and you literally just click one button, and you go through and you select which ones you want to import. So it's pretty self-explanatory, like I said. So this is definitely an app to go ahead and use as well. because as far as the actual visuals of our store, the only thing that is missing is reviews. So as soon as you set up this looks, your store, your product page is 100% complete. It looks solid. And the next app is going to be Abandonment Protector. Now this one's also 100% necessary. So this one is email marketing. So the main ones you want to set up are the abandoned cart sequences. It lets you set up 3, and I recommend taking advantage of all 3 because it doesn't cost anymore to set up all 3. So there's a lot of different emails that you'll be able to set up within Abandonment Protector, and it also lets you send newsletters as well. But when you're getting started, I would recommend just setting up your 3 abandoned cart emails. And the cool thing about Abandonment Protector is that there's a bunch of templates you can choose from. So it's really easy. You just go in there and you change the templates to match your branding. So the same exact thing we've been doing the entire tutorial. So if the base template is red, you would just change it to match whatever the hex code is of your logo and everything, and then you input your social media links, and that's it. You don't really have to change anything else because the template's already there. So this is a really cool app. It's only $8 a month, and it's going to make that back really fast because abandoned carts, you can recover a lot of lost sales with this app. It's really good. And the last app is going to be Lucky Orange. So this one isn't mandatory, but it's really nice because what it does is it tracks what your visitors do on the site. So it tracks where their mouse is and everything and what they're looking at. You can actually go back and look at recordings to see what your visitors are doing. So you can kind of look and see if there's certain areas of your site that your visitors are getting confused at, or maybe a lot of people are stopping at the cart page, so maybe you need to increase loading speed or something there. You can see what's stopping your customers from checking out. So this is a really useful app when it comes to trying to raise your conversion rates. So that's it for apps. I wouldn't really mess with anything else unless you're going to set up an affiliate app later on. That's something you can do, but that's not something you would do right away. So I would really just stick to the basics. You don't want to overload yourself with 50 apps to where your site looks like a fireworks display with 50 notifications and stuff. It just looks stupid. So just stick to the bare bones basics. And with that said, if you made it this far in this video, then you're probably pretty committed to doing this. So with that said, if you've made it this far, I will leave a link in the description to a 24-hour 50% off to my one product dropshipping course. So if you want a step-by-step walkthrough on how to do every aspect of it, so the product research and the advertising and everything like that, you can check that out. It's something to where if you want to kind of take this to the next level, you can go ahead and implement that. So I figured I'd go ahead and give anyone that's watched this much of the video a chance to get in there at 50% off, just because if you've watched this long, you probably like my teaching style. So you may want some additional paid training. So with that said, I'll leave that link in the description below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Subscribe to the channel for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.